Life can really throw some curveballs. And today we're going deep on one that's got to be a real doozy.
Yeah, for sure.
What happens when you're 15 years into a relationship and suddenly, bam, your partner comes out as gay?
Whoa. Talk about a life changer.
It's a situation loaded with emotions, tons of complexity, and we're going to unpack it all through this one woman's incredible story.
Right. And we're drawing on her interview from the ChatBOX podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But for everyone listening in, this isn't just about one person's experience, right? This is about trying to understand those huge life changes that can just blindside you.
Yeah,
And about how identity can be, well, kind of a wild ride.
absolutely.
So we'll break it down, starting with that initial shock, the what just happened moment. Then we'll rewind a bit, look for any signs, maybe things that could have been noticed earlier. Then, of course, the aftermath, the emotional and social fallout. And finally, we'll explore the path to healing. Finding yourself again in the midst of all that upheaval.
Makes sense.
So imagine this. You're 15 years in, comfortable, settled, and then, boom, this news hits. It's described as a seismic shift, and for good reason, I'd say. What do you think that moment feels like?
Well, first off, pure disbelief. After all that time together, your brain's just not wired to process something like that. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
You're just stuck.
Totally. The whole foundation of your relationship, everything you built together, it all gets called into question.
And then the emotions come crashing in. Right?
Yeah. Anger, sadness, insecurity, you name it. It's like a tidal wave.
Just hearing about it makes me feel a bit shaky.
Well, think about it. That anger, it comes from feeling like something huge was kept hidden. Sadness, that's the future you thought you had, slipping away. And insecurity, that's about questioning everything, the connection, yourself, everything.
Oof, heavy stuff. And then on top of that, you mentioned a feeling of existential crisis. The dreams of family, growing old together, it's like they evaporate. Poof, gone.
It's pretty profound, right? When you're in a long-term relationship, your sense of self, your future, it all gets intertwined with the other person. So when that shared future disappears, it's like your own path, your purpose. It all needs to be reevaluated. And that's a lot to handle on top of the immediate emotional turmoil.
Definitely a lot to unpack there. And then the feeling of betrayal after 15 years.
Yeah.
That must be incredibly deep.
No kidding. It's like that trust you built brick by brick over all those years suddenly crumbles. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about your partner, about the relationship itself.
Just a huge sense of loss all around.
Exactly. And she even mentions going through a period of self-doubt, wondering if she missed any signs, if she could have done things differently.
Oh, yeah, I can totally see that happening.
Yeah.
You'd be racking your brain trying to figure out what went wrong.
It's a natural human response. When something unexpected happens, especially something this big, we try to find explanations. We want to make sense of it, regain some control over the situation. But it's crucial to remember someone's sexual orientation is about them, their core identity. It's not a reflection of your worth or actions.
Right, and thankfully, she seems to come to terms with that. She talks about initially feeling inadequate and then realizing it was about her partner's truth, not hers.
That's a huge step. It's about moving towards empathy,
Right.
recognizing that her partner had their own internal struggles. And for anyone listening, understanding that shift is important. Even when a relationship ends, being able to see each other as individuals, acknowledging their truths, that's a big part of navigating the transition.
Absolutely, it's about respecting each other's journeys.
Mm.
So moving on, there's that phase where you inevitably look back, right? Searching for clues, wondering if you missed something.
Oh, for sure. When something like this happens, it's natural to replay the relationship in your head.
Like try and find those missing puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's so important to approach it with a learning mindset, not a blaming one. It's not about regret, but about gaining insights.
That's a good point. It's about understanding, not dwelling on the past. And the ChatBOX podcast, it really highlights how societal expectations can sometimes blind us.
Yeah, we're conditioned to think about relationships in a certain way, so we might miss those subtle cues that don't fit the picture.
Like we're wearing those relationship blinders.
Right. And then there's the whole dynamic of genuine affection versus hidden struggles. It's possible to deeply love someone and still be terrified of judgment, of rejection. So you might not be your true self, even in a long-term relationship.
It's like wearing a mask, even with the person you're closest to.
Sadly, that happens more than we realize. It really underscores the importance of open communication, making sure both partners feel safe enough to share their deepest truths, whatever those may be.
So, so important. And the podcast mentions a few potential red flags, like avoiding long-term discussions or maybe feeling uncomfortable with traditionally gendered activities. Those subtle things, do you think they're easy to miss?
Especially in a long-term relationship, you've got your routines, your patterns, those little signs, they might not set off any alarm bells. Plus, communication styles play a huge role. If open dialogue, especially about tough topics, wasn't the norm, those signs could easily slip by unnoticed.
And then you've got societal pressures, the whole expectation of heterosexuality. That adds another layer of complexity, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It can make it even harder to address those uncomfortable truths. So, going back to those signs, it's not about assigning blame, it's about learning, about understanding the dynamics at play. It's about personal growth, both for yourself and for future relationships.
Right. It's about taking those lessons with you. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the aftermath, the ripple effects that happen after this kind of revelation. Emotionally, socially, it's got to be a lot to process.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You've got 15 years of shared history, of routines, of a future plan together, and then suddenly it's gone. That kind of loss, it triggers a whole grieving process.
You're mourning the relationship, the future you thought you had.
Exactly. And those feelings we talked about earlier, the betrayal, the confusion, they stick around. You find yourself replaying past moments, trying to make sense of everything with this new information. It's mentally and emotionally exhausting.
Like trying to rewrite your own history.
Right. And then there's the social side of things. How do you tell your friends, your family? Do they understand? Are they supportive? That can be a whole minefield of its own.
Yeah, it can feel really isolating, especially when you need support the most.
Your social circles, they're all intertwined after that long together. So explaining the situation, it's awkward, it's painful. Some people might be amazing, but others might not react the way you hoped. It can make a tough situation even tougher.
And unfortunately, there's still a stigma around relationship breakdowns,
Yeah.
especially when sexuality is involved.
It's sad, but true. Even though we're making progress, those societal norms and judgments, they still exist. And navigating that on top of everything else, it can be a real burden.
That's why having a solid support system is crucial, right? Friends, family, maybe even professional help.
Absolutely. Having those people who listen without judgment, who offer support, who just let you be yourself, it's invaluable. And therapists, they can offer guidance, tools to process everything, and help you navigate the practical side of things too.
Because let's be real, getting through something like this, it's not a quick fix. It takes time, effort, and a whole lot of emotional energy.
Healing is a journey, not a sprint. It's about allowing yourself to grieve, to adjust. There will be good days and bad days. But self-compassion, that's key. Feeling the pain, acknowledging it, that's all part of moving forward.
It's a process, not a destination. And speaking of moving forward, the Chat BOX podcast frames this whole experience, this painful unraveling, as a potential for growth. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a powerful perspective. Life throws these curveballs, and yeah, they hurt. But sometimes those big changes, they can be catalyst for real self-discovery. It's an opportunity to redefine yourself, to create a future you might not have even imagined before.
It's like closing one chapter and starting a new one.
Exactly. And she talks about the importance of healthy coping mechanisms. Journaling, art, physical activity, finding those outlets for your emotions, it makes a huge difference.
It's about finding what works for you, channeling those feelings in a constructive way.
And self-care, that can't be overlooked either. Sleep, good food, doing things that bring you joy. It's not a luxury, it's essential, especially during times of stress.
It's about taking care of yourself, mind, and body. And she also stresses the importance of therapy, which makes sense. Having that professional support can be so helpful.
It's a safe space to explore your feelings, to identify any unhealthy patterns, and to develop coping strategies. Plus, therapists can help with the practical stuff too, navigating separation, rebuilding your life.
It's like having a guide on this new path you're on.
Yeah.
And then there's the idea of rediscovery, reconnecting with your own passions, your dreams, things that might have been put aside during the relationship.
Yeah, it's a chance to explore those parts of yourself that maybe got pushed down. You can pursue new interests, build new friendships, even travel.
It's about reclaiming your individuality, finding your own joy.
And rebuilding your self-concept. It's a fresh start, an opportunity to redefine who you are.
And ultimately, the podcast emphasizes that resilience, as tough as it is to develop, can lead to a deeper understanding of yourself and a renewed sense of purpose. It's a pretty hopeful message.
Absolutely. The journey is rough, no doubt, but it can lead to incredible growth. You emerge stronger, wiser, and with a clearer vision for your future.
You come out the other side, transformed. So listening to all this, exploring this woman's experience, it really shows that a situation like this, it's messy, it's deeply personal, it's filled with shock, reflection, pain, but also the potential for incredible growth.
And what's so powerful for our listeners, even if they haven't gone through this exact situation, is that the underlying themes are universal. Dealing with change, figuring out identity, finding resilience. These are things we all face in different ways.
Exactly. It makes you think about the expectations we place on relationships, the assumptions we make. And ultimately, it highlights the importance of understanding ourselves and our partners on a deeper level. Lots to ponder, even after our deep dive today.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration.
Anytime.